Can you control the violence living inside of you? Now it's time to burn, burn, burn. There's no hiding down from your fate. See them lying down on the ground.
All right, what's up out there? Hey, it's the Bad Bob Hangover Show. Hey, I'm glad all you people out there just getting ready to get up, drink some coffee, eat some stuff, which you probably throw up later because you had a rough night last night, but that's okay. Now, listen, we got some good stuff today. We got some Elon Musk firing some people. Yeah, that's pretty cool shit. All right. Also, the Chinese, they threw the old dude out. Oh, man, that's just a rough one right there. Of course, Kari Lake. Oh, my God. That woman is good. Yeah, she told the press to go stick it somewhere. Yeah, I'll tell you later. Also, we got some little bit of, speaking of partying too hard, that's why we got the show this morning. We got some other people that were out partying this weekend, and I kind of know him kind of personally. He's a good friend of mine. He is the Alexander the Great base god 14, and here he is. Good morning, sir.
Good morning. Yeah, when we first came up with this idea, based on your schedule, because your schedule's been kind of all over the place, we kind of had this idea. Let's do a Saturday morning hangover show, right? All these people partying out last night. They need to recover. Right. I am still trying to recover from Thursday night. So that's where I'm at right now. That was not planned, cool. But I'm still trying to recover from Thursday night's activities. And do you want me to lead off with that, Rob? Want me to talk about the party?
Hell yeah, get on it.
I think it was a lot of fun. It's appropriate. By the way, I did want to mention to people, I'm a college football fan, and there is a great game going on right now. I've got it on in the background. We're actually really good timing because they're going into halftime. It's Penn State versus Ohio State. Ohio State is ranked number 2 in the nation. Right now, Penn State is leading Ohio State by 1 point. And right now, with only 6 seconds until halftime, Ohio State is trying to score, like right before my eyes. And the quarterback just got sacked. And it looks like going into the halftime, Penn State will be leading by 1 point against the number two football program in the nation right now. Number
football,
2, Ohio State.
You bet.
So, yeah. So for you betting people out there, some people are probably getting really excited right now. Really excited about the idea that Penn State can take this. So very exciting game going on over there right now. There's a lot of other games going on today. I know Notre Dame's playing Syracuse. I'm a Notre Dame fan. I haven't really watched that one because I've been fixated on this game. But I did want to talk about this party that I went to on Thursday that, again, I am still basically trying to recover from. So here we go. Let me I'm going to bring up my personal Instagram. And let's see. Here we go. You see that, Rob? You see the TV man?
Yeah.
Pretty cool, huh?
Yes.
I met this individual. I can't remember his name off the top of my head, but this was probably the best costume, I think. And if you can, it's hard to tell because of the lighting, but he's holding a camera. He's got like a DSLR camera that he's holding. He was filming with that on.
Wow, that's tough.
Can you believe that?
Tough job.
He literally had a TV on his head and he was filming. And of course, he's a DP. He's a cinematographer, director of photography. And I did get his info. We did exchange info. But that's talent, don't you think? To be able to film with a TV on your head.
he drinking as well?
I don't know. I would imagine he was, but I don't know. I know he took it off later. He took off the TV head. So
yeah,
he was,
or smoking that ganja.
I don't know anything about that, my friend. I don't.
Well,
Now,
say
this
you.
party
It's
was
him.
at Sun Studios in Tempe.
Yeah.
Sun Studios is actually the old Al Collins College, and Sun Studios took it over. So
Cool.
I had not had a chance to check this place out. Actually, Rob and I have both talked about checking this place out. So I was like, you know what? They're doing a party. It's a group called Arizona Filmmakers, or AZ Filmmakers. They're on. That's how I found out about it.
These dudes are awesome.
And they were hosting the party at Sun Studios. So I had a chance to actually walk around. There was someone from the sales department there, and she took me around. So I got to see the whole facility, and it was very nice. I was impressed.
Let me tell you, Sun Studios is a pretty hot place. A little shout out to those guys. Those guys, they got. If you guys are in the business, film, man, they got everything that you need down there. Let me tell you.
This guy was really cool out there. This guy here, cool dude, man. They were having one of the rooms they had a set up. Obviously, they were doing blackjack, and if you won, instead of playing for money, you got studio time. So if you won at blackjack, they gave you free studio time. Kind of cool, huh?
Interesting.
And this guy was hosting it here in the Halloween spirit. You see the skeleton back there?
Yeah. So he lost.
Yeah, I don't think he did very well, but yeah, they were gambling for studio time, which was really cool.
All right, so tell me about this party, man. Come on, tell me about all the good times, all the bad times, if there was any. And just tell me about all the people that were there.
Well, this gentleman was there. He was actually playing in the studio. You would have loved the studio. The studio setup is pretty awesome. You can see him. He's in there. He was playing live. So I recorded him. That's on my Instagram if you want to hear the music. But you can see this that's the studio. See, there's a grand piano there. Then they got this other room. And then this is the one you'd like. They got the drum room. See that? Did you see it?
Well, yeah. Where's the was no drums at all? Nobody playing or what?
No, he was the only one playing. But they have three separate rooms. So you got like one room where you can do whatever, vocals. Yeah. He's playing his violin. They've got the room with the piano, and then they've got the room with the drums. And real cool setup, very professional. You and I have recorded in some pretty good studios. And I have to say this one looked pretty top notch. This recording studio they had. This was the bar setup. You're talking about the fun, the good times. This was the bar. Yeah. And, you can see some of the folks there, that are hanging out. Incidentally, I actually made a connection with the bartender because it turned out she's an actress. So I got her on my Instagram as well. Very, very nice lady. But they had this is a setup they have for the bar. It was open bar. So once you paid the fee to get in, you didn't have to pay anything else. So it was $50 for a ticket. But I'll tell you this is something that was really nice. ASU students, there were a bunch of ASU students there. They got in for free. So they were letting the ASU students come in for free, which I thought was really nice.
That is very nice. Yeah.
I met a lot of young people. I was really impressed with that. These people are very ambitious. These are guys that are trying to hustle. Guys and girls are trying to hustle. They're trying to network. They're trying to make the Arizona film scene viable, which I kind of gave up on the Arizona film scene. You and I have been doing almost all of our work in LA. We've been doing very little here in Arizona, even though we're based in Arizona. But I have to tell you, I was impressed. And I think I made a lot of good contacts, Rob, and everybody's doing Instagram. So if you don't have an Instagram, Rob, you need to get an Instagram because all these, even the older guys, they all use Instagram for networking. So a lot of people didn't even have business cards. I had business cards. I was giving business cards to people, but a lot of people didn't have business cards. What they did is they said, "Are you on Instagram?" And that's how we exchanged information.
That's it, huh? Okay.
Yep.
Check that out.
That seems to be the wave of the future. You know what I mean?
Okay. Cool. Right on.
But it was a really fun event. Kudos to Sun Studios and kudos to Arizona Filmmakers. Really, really good stuff. I've got tons. If you look up here, I've got tons of contacts now. And I do want to give a shout out to this Arizona Filmmakers group. They were the ones who hosted it. They're the ones who put it on. So I do want people to know about it. They're up to over 3,000 followers now, which is awesome. But it's Arizona filmmakers, and they're the ones who hosted the event. And kudos to them. I think they did a fantastic job with the event. And hopefully this is going to be a way going forward for local Arizona filmmakers to be able to network and to be able to build something here in Arizona, so we don't have to freaking go to California all the time, because I don't like going to California all the time.
Especially if you have to go to the bathroom. Okay,
Yeah.
so that's a different story.
That. True story. I told people that story, by the way, Rob. I told a lot of people
I can bring that up again. I mean, I know the story very well. I mean, I lived it, so did you. And
yep.
Matter of fact, I'll bring it up real quick right now. We were on our way to California. We're doing a shoot down in Burbank, California, and, on our film Staycation, which we were involved with, which is a fabulous movie. Check it out. Russell Manuel, Staycation. He's the prime director in there, and he's got to check him out. He's awesome. A lot of films behind him. We're on our way up there. And,
on Tubi, by the way. Pretty much Tubi? all of Russ's films are on Tubi, so you can see them for free. I was telling people that. Altiverse, I'm an associate producer on Altiverse. That is available on Tubi for free. It used to be called Occupants.
That's right. That's right. Thank you for that. And also, we had to use the bathroom really bad. It was bad. It was bad. We hit like Bakersfield. Actually, it wasn't Bakersfield. It was San Bernardino. We just came across the border from Arizona. And had to go to the bathroom. And nobody, because of COVID, had the bathrooms open. Nobody. We had to drive all the way to Burbank. That was another 5 hours from there. I mean, it was just terrible. And by the time we got there, we're in this beautiful place down there by the beach, right there off of Lincoln Boulevard and Rose Avenue, which is prime real estate down there in Venice and Santa Monica area. And we're getting ready to, our teeth were floating. I mean, we were just, oh my God. We had to go number 1 and 2. And it was terrible. And we looked off to the right at a stoplight, and there was a lady sitting there taking a dump right in front of us, pissing right in front of us on the sidewalk. And we were worried about getting arrested for exposing ourselves. And I'll never forget it. It's been such a long time since I've been back there. And son of a bitch. I bet you the cops are probably right there anyways, and they probably didn't even give a shit. But it was just, and then she crawled back into her cardboard box, which they were everywhere, plus the dents and the other 2-story whatever they were making, which is, it's their homes, and whatever. And it's, they got to live too. So, but man, I take a shit right there in front of everybody. That was crazy. So anyways, I just thought I'd throw the story out at you. But as far as that party was pretty happening. That was pretty cool on. So what else is going on out there?
Well, which story did you want to start out with? Do you want to talk about Elon?
I think you know what? Yeah, let's talk about Elon taking over the joint. And
I do have an article for you that I got on this one.
Okay.
This is from Business Insider. And man, these pop-up ads are annoying. It says one of the Twitter execs Elon Musk just fired had a key role in getting Trump banned from the platform in January 2021. So it says Viaje Gatti, if I'm pronouncing that right, I don't know. A top Twitter legal and policy executive was fired by Elon Musk on Thursday. Gotti headed the team that decided to boot Trump off Twitter in January 2021 after the Capitol riot. In May, Musk said he would let Trump back on Twitter, calling the decision to ban him morally bad. So it goes on to say, hours after becoming the owner of Twitter on Thursday, Elon Musk asked 4 of the company's executives. One of those execs played a key role in deciding to kick then President Donald Trump off the platform. According to a January 2021 report from the Washington Post, Vijay Gadde, Twitter's then top legal and policy executive, led the team that decided whether or not to ban Trump. Twitter permanently suspended Trump from the platform on January 8th, 2021, citing the risk of further incitement of violence after the Capitol riot. Gadde was one of the key shot callers regarding the Trump ban. Twitter CEO Jack Dorsey was vacationing on a private island at the time, per the New York Times. When asked about the role she played in banning Trump, a Twitter spokesman told CNN Business on October 2021 that decisions regarding bans are made by the Trust and Safety Team, which of course reported to Gadde. Gadde was also tasked with asking her Twitter colleagues to have patience while they decided what to do with Trump, per the Post. The former president was slapped with a permanent Twitter ban less than 3 hours after Gadde held the emergency meeting, the Post reported. Gadde worked for Twitter for more than 11 years. Her LinkedIn profile shows she joined the company in July 2011 as a legal director. The other executives must fired on Thursday include Twitter's CEO, Parg Agrawal. Man, why are these names so hard to pronounce? But that's the CEO. He got the axe. The chief financial officer. Hey, poor chief financial officer. That's what I am, man. I'm the chief financial officer for Bad. Ned Siegel. He got dumped, and the general counsel, Sean Edgett. So I assume that's their number one lawyer. The fired executives stand to make a total of $88 million in payoffs. Isn't it nice when you fail up?
God,
so all these guys got the axe, and they're all getting a piece of this
$10 million apiece,
right?
Oh my God.
It says it's unclear if Musk fired Gadde because of her role in the decision to ban Trump. Gadde, Musk, and the representatives for Twitter did not immediately respond to insiders' request for comment. Musk said in May that he would reverse Twitter's Trump ban, saying that booting Trump off Twitter was a morally bad decision and foolish in the extreme. And I have to agree with Mr. Musk on this. What about you?
Yep. Nobody should be banned unless it's hurting somebody. Man, you got every right to say whatever's on your mind, man. You know, it is. Boy, this world is just gone to shit. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on out there right now. It's just this election stuff that's happening right now. I was just reading some other stuff this morning, and the intimidation at the boxes. People are taking pictures of each other. You know, they're getting in each other's faces, and you know, come on, that's enough of that shit. You know,
that's
just
voter intimidation. That's direct intimidation.
Sit back. The guy's thrown in 1 or 2 envelopes, might be for his mom, his dad, or something. You know, there's some old fuckers out there like me. You know, just you can't make shit happen anymore, and you know, just the way it is. And okay, leave those people alone. But they're sitting there dropping, 50 at a time in there, dumping a box through a little hole. Yeah, you might want to take a couple pictures. We understand that. That's fine. But don't sit there with Uzis strapped to your chest and grenades and tear gas and, wearing a tactical sock on your face. And,
years ago, there was an election where the Black Panthers were doing that. They were armed up and they were trying to intimidate people, so
they pissed off too.
I don't care what your cause is. I don't care what your cause is. That's just not appropriate. You just shouldn't be doing that.
I should let me rephrase the piss off remark I just made. What they did piss off. Okay. Their organization, they're free. This is the United States of America. You want to be Black Panther? Great. That's you want to be some dude holding the flag above your head and representing some force of nature or whatever the hell you are. That's great. Fine. Good for you. Don't you hurt nobody. You start hurting people, and the rest of the people are going to be staring at you going, okay, he needs to go. That's just a little too much. So, it's just a piece of paper voting for somebody that they think they believe in. Leave them alone. That's all right. And everything's all right anyways. So besides that, I mean, just a piece of paper with somebody's name on it. Who cares? And there's more to that story. But anyways, that party you went to, apparently you said it was open bar. I know you must have just like hung out at one corner all night long. I know you
Oh
did.
yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It was kind of funny because
slide me another one. Come on.
the way that it was set up, okay, there were three main areas of activity, I would say. Obviously, the bar was number one. It was open bar. I wasn't the only one taking advantage.
Did you
of that,
make it past 2 feet past the bar, or did you?
I did.
Were
They gave
you
me a tour.
attached to the bar?
I got a tour. I did get a tour, Rob. There
the
was
bar or
somebody
the
from Sun
facility?
Studios, and she showed me all the rooms. But the other thing they have two studios. One's like a green screen studio, and the other one's just an open like sound stage. That's where they had the dancing. They had a DJ in there and dancing, but that was on the first floor. The bar was on the second floor. So it's kind of funny how they were trying to get people to go dance. But it's like, but the bar's up here, dude. You know what I mean? So why are we going to go dance when the bar's here?
That's the way it was at Phase 4 Studios.
Okay. Yeah, I remember Phase 4.
Yep.
They had the bar upstairs. Yeah. That's so right. Similar setup. And then the other area of activity was they have a theater. They have an actual theater, and it's pretty nice. And they were showing movies. Remember, I told you they were going to be doing a film competition. And so they had some movies. I only had the chance to see one movie because I didn't even know when they started showing them. Somebody said, hey, they're showing the movies. So I got to see one. I got to see one film. But they had several. They had a competition. I don't know who won. But it was nice. It was nice.
Was it a cool film?
The one I saw was pretty spooky. I kind of got lost, as I do with a lot of horror stuff, because it was a horror short, and I kind of got lost as to what was going on. But I think that was intentional. You know what I mean? Horror shorts are always kind of weird, you know?
So there is some other stuff going on out there. I heard some Chinese dudes picked up this old Chinese man and dragged him out of this big conference room. What was that all about?
And I do have an article about that as well. So let me bring it up.
It just so happened to be the leader of the Chinese party. There it is. Look at that poor guy. And look at the circle. The first circle that went up on the left there. Yeah.
Yep.
So
this is a New York Times article. And actually, this particular article is pretty good because they actually break it down for you exactly, like all the weird things that happen, because people are trying to figure out what actually happened. And the title of the article, this is a New York Times article, says, "What happened to who? Jintao." The former Chinese leader was abruptly escorted out of a highly choreographed meeting of the Communist Party elite. Here's what the video shows. It says, it was the lone disruption in one of the most closely choreographed events in China. The country's former top leader, Jintao, was suddenly let out of the closing ceremony of the Chinese Communist Party's twice-a-decade Congress. They only meet twice a decade. Isn't that crazy? The Congress, where China's next leaders are anointed, is the single most important political event for a ruling party fixated on control. Every detail, whether it is the outcome of its elections or how servers pour tea, is planned. Nothing unscripted happens. Nothing unscripted is allowed to happen. Except this year, it did. The roughly 2,000 delegates to the Congress had just cast ballots for the party's prestigious Central Committee. Then two men led Mr. Hu, who appeared reluctant to go, out of Beijing's Great Hall of the People. The moment, captured on video by journalists who had been allowed into the hall minutes earlier, prompted questions and wild speculation. Was Mr. Hu, 79 years old, suffering from poor health, as Chinese state media would later report? Or was he being purged in a dramatic show by China's current leader, Xi Jinping, for the world to see? This was an astonishing episode. Even during the Mao period, you didn't see a dramatic disruption of the Congress like this, said Victor Shi, a specialist in Chinese politics at the University of California at San Diego. The world may never know the answer given the utter secrecy around Chinese high politics. But a deconstruction of video footage provides additional details and context about the much scrutinized moment. In the minutes before Mr. Hu is led away, he appears to be reaching for a document on the table where the top leaders and retired elders of the party preside. The man to his left, Xi Zhanshu, the party's now outgoing number 3 official quickly intervenes. You can actually see it in this image. He's covering the paper. He's covering it with a red folder. So basically, he was reaching for a piece of paper, and then this other guy covers it up. He later slides the document away, speaking to into Mr. Hu's ear. So you can see they're kind of almost fighting over this paper. Mm-hmm. It's unclear what the document was, but all the officials appeared to have papers. A photo of one of the pages taken later seems to show that it was a list of names with the words Central Committee. The Congress was about to announce the new Central Committee, which would make clear that Mr. Z has pushed out perceived moderates in favor of loyalists. The party's top leaders and retired elders historically have a great deal of influence over the selection. The delegates had not yet voted on amendments to the party constitution, approving Mr. Z's report on the progress of the previous 5 years or report on internal party discipline. The amendments, revealed later, reaffirm Mr. Z's importance as the core of the party. Previous party meetings have been stages for political maneuvering and the humiliation of former leaders. In 1959, the party formally adopted a resolution denouncing Ping Denghui, a high-ranking military official, and after he criticized Mao Zedong's economic policies. During the Cultural Revolution, many leaders, including Mr. Z's father, were purged or publicly shamed. But those moments predated the internet age and were clearly intentional. Mm-hmm. It's far from evident that Mr. Hu's exit was planned, and many analysts have warned against drawing assumptions. The apparent chaos of the following moments led many to read this scene as unscripted. Mr. Z glances towards one side of the hall. An aide then comes over to Mr. Z, who addresses him and taps a piece of paper. The aide bends over to say something to Mr. Hu, and who had been watching the previous exchange out of the corner of his eye, seemingly listening. As Mr. Z looks on, the aide grasps Mr. Hu's right arm as if trying to get him out of his seat. You can see that in this image. Mr. Hu pulls his arm back. The man tries to lift the former top leader from behind under both arms, but fails. You can see him fighting him. He's not letting him pick him up. Mr. Hu then reaches for the paper in front of Mr. Z. That's the president, which the top leader holds down. So he actually tried to grab something from the president, and he's not letting him. When the aide finally succeeds in coaxing Mr. Hu from his chair, Mr. Li, the number 3 official, half rises from his seat and appears to be moving to engage the situation. Another official, Wang Huning, the party's then number 5 leader, tugs at Mr. Li's back. So you can see the one guy's trying to get up and do something or say something. Then this other guy comes up from behind him and pulls him down. It's like, no, don't even do it. You know what I mean? Don't even try. Mr. Li and Mr. Wang represent a changing of the guard at the apex of power in China, the Politburo Standing Committee that was unveiled the next day. So Mr. Li had reached retirement age and was leaving. Mr. Wang is the party's chief theoretician and has served as the ideological advisor to both the current and former leader. He was promoted at this Congress to the number 4 spot and is seen as close to Mr. Z. With the Politburo Standing Committee now filled with his allies, Mr. Z will face little resistance to his agenda, which includes bolstering national security and reshaping the global order to better suit Beijing's interests. None of the new leaders have the experience or are young enough to be considered potential successors to Mr. Z. So he's surrounding himself with yes men. As the two aides began guiding Mr. Hu away from his seat, the older leader stops to say something to Mr. Z. Mr. Z nods briefly without fully turning to look at him. So you can kind of see that little acknowledgement. He doesn't face him. Yeah, Mr. Hu then pats Li Keqiang, China's premier, on the shoulder. Mr. Li nods too, but also does not fully turn around. The way these guys act like zombies is really interesting. Yeah, you know what I mean? Like he can't even turn and face the guy. You know what I mean? He can't look him in the eye.
Disgusting.
You know?
That's disgusting.
These are the top two. This is the president and the premier. And they can't even face this guy.
Yeah.
The premier has long been seen as an ally and protege of Mr. Hu. He climbed the party's ranks in part through his leadership roles in the Communist Youth League, a party organization that Mr. Hu once headed. At least 2 other people seated at the front table have longstanding associations with Mr. Hu, Wang Yang and Hu Chunghao, the outgoing number 4 party member, and a Chinese vice premier, respectively, were also affiliated with the Communist Youth League. The new lineup of top officials unveiled the next day excluded those 3 perceived proteges of Mr. Hu, breaking with the tradition of balancing different party factions in the leadership. As Mr. Hu is escorted out of the hall, he passes behind 19 other high-ranking party officials seated at the same long table. Almost none of them gave any indication that anything out of the ordinary is occurring. A few are engaged in conversation. Most stare straight ahead. Again, it's a zombie thing. You can see this picture here.
Well, they're all scared. They're all scared that Mr. Z head over there, XI, whatever his name is. He, the leader. He's he's made a command decision. Don't even look at that son of a bitch. Just get him out of here. What a bunch of assholes. All of them are.
It's pathetic, isn't it? And these are like the top guys.
These are like the top idiots. Guys. All of them are idiots. I'd slap every single one of them across the head just because they're an asshole. Screw them.
It's crazy, isn't it?
You know what? They can stay there. I hope one day the people realize what's really going on down there, and they take them out, and they take them somewhere. Not there. Just get rid of them.
So the bottom line is nobody really knows what exactly happened.
Nobody knows. They're not going to let anybody know because it's a communist country. They control.
But the body language,
especially
when they break it down like that, it's disgusting. I mean, these guys are like robots, and these are the elites. These are the top dogs. You know what I mean?
What does it remind you of?
Putin, for one.
But it also it's there's a method that certain type of people use when they get rid of people, like the mob. They actually are pretty. Yeah. The mob, at least the mob. If you want to be bold about it, okay, look, they just shoot you right in the forehead, right down, just get it over with. They're actually humiliating him. They probably humiliated him, took him out. They probably went after his family, told them to shut the hell up, and then they go whack the dude outside the damn back door or something. Throw him in a car and dump him off in the Chinese river out there, that big ass river they got. I mean, it was a nasty son of a bitch. As an American, I'm so happy to live in the United States of America, even though we got a lot of issues ourselves. That shit right there needs to stop. That's just, I don't get it. This is the 23rd century. Who cares? We're so technically evolved, way so past that. It's not even funny. And those guys they're living a nightmare out there, and one guy's not. That's the leader. How do you say his name? Jing, what's his name?
President Z.
Z. And it's XI, right? That's how you spell it?
Yeah.
It's Z? Okay. You know what? Next time we show him, we'll just put a Z in front of him. That's what we're going to do. Just so you know how to pronounce his name. If you see him on the street, just punch him right in the teeth because he's an asshole.
Well, the funny thing is China's kind of doomed no matter what. And the reason that China is doomed is because of their demographics, because of the one-child policy. They call it what do they call it? The 1, 2, 4 problem. Okay, it's math. Yeah. Okay, you've got one kid, not just supporting 2 parents, but 4 grandparents. That math doesn't work. One person supporting 6 people.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's crazy.
Because China's, they have a high life expectancy like we do. So they got a lot of old people, just like we do. We got a lot of old people, okay? So does China. But the problem there is you got one kid who's got to support 2 parents and 4 grandparents. 1, 2, 4. That math doesn't work. They are doomed. No matter what this asshole does, they're doomed.
That's right. That's right.
Just a matter of time. It's just a matter of time, Rob.
Speaking of doomed people.
Doomed people.
There's several doomed people that are coming up here shortly here in the next 10 days. Right before wonderful elections coming up. Miss Kari Lake, she's doing a pretty good job. I have to give it to her. She's doing a pretty good job. And she hammered the shit out of those reporters. And not just local reporters, international reporters were there too. And there was a reason why they were there, because they're trying to spread all that bullshit across the planet. And they're always trying to connect Trump again. Somehow they're always connecting him to her, which is fine, but in a negative way. And she blasted the crap out of him. And I don't know
when
if you
did this
saw
happen, Rob? I didn't have a chance to see this. Well, this was yesterday.
It was a live event. I forget the location she was in front of, but it was great. She was blamed for what happened to Katie Hobbs' break-in. Did you hear about that?
I did hear about that.
Yeah. So Katie Hobbs blamed Kari Lake
For the break-in?
For the break-in. And so Kari Lake says, well, since you wanted to spread rumors, and she looked at all the reporters out there and said, you're all reporting about this. This is all over the news, but you're not reporting about what Katie Hobbs did to me. She broke into my place. Matter of fact, we got a picture of her doing it. And then they show the picture, and the picture is a picture of a chicken.
A chicken.
A chicken breaking into her door. It was cool. She did a great job. It was really funny to watch that. And
I
Katie
found an
Hobbs
article. You want me to bring it up?
Yeah. I'm trying to remember the other thing I wanted to say. So it was the reporters. Oh yeah, that's it. That's it right there. Let's see.
This is from the Tucson Channel 9s. That's their I guess their ABC affiliate. It says Katie Hobbs, Kari Lake released statements on campaign headquarters burglary. Kari Lake responds to break-in coverage in media, quote, "You're taking completely bogus stories and running with it."
That's right.
Phoenix police have made an arrest in connection with the burglary at the campaign headquarters for Katie Hobbs, the Democratic nominee for governor. Hobbs, who is the current Arizona Secretary of State, shared a statement on the campaign office burglary Thursday afternoon. In the tweet, Hobbs mentions a statement made earlier by Republican opponent Kari Lake, in which Lake said the burglary was staged by the Hobbs campaign. Arizona is one of the top states for threats to election officials and poll workers, Hobbs shared in the statement. Public officials and candidates for office are harassed regularly, and armed vigilantes stand near ballot drop boxes aiming to intimidate voters. In the press conference on Wednesday, Lake responded to her opponent. "While I'm meeting with police officers and firefighters working to make sure our state is safe, she's pulling stunts," she said. She condemns the media for spreading the story. She puts out a statement about a petty theft, and she knows darn well that it wasn't me. And right away, you gatekeepers at the Arizona Democratic Party jump on it, put a statement on it, and it was the cue to you to start going with it. Lake said she hopes misinformation stops. Blaming me for the break-in, but hopefully by now you figured it out. Figured out, but that's part of the plan, she said. You don't care about the facts, and you know the facts will come out later. So they got Katie Hobbs' statement here. I'm not going to read it. Instances of voter intimidation have manifested recently in the form of threatening letters and ballot watchers. We actually talked about that earlier. Both Governor Ducey and Attorney General Mark Brnovich have issued statements condemning the reported acts of voter intimidation in the state, which we did earlier. Police did not release the person's name or say whether they believe the crime was politically motivated. Sergeant Phil Kresge said more information will be released later Thursday. Hobbs' campaign manager, Nicole DeMont, has said items were taken during the burglary Tuesday afternoon, but the campaign has declined to say what is missing. Hobbs is in a tight race against Republican Kari Lake, a former television news anchor. She has received death threats stemming from falsehoods over the 2020 election in Arizona, which she oversaw as Secretary of State. Lake gave a press conference this afternoon, that was October 27th, condemning media outlets for focusing on the burglary of Hobbs' office and using a statement from the Arizona Democratic Party with absolutely no fact checking. Kari Lake to the fake news. You got to do better, guys. We were 13 days out from the election, and you're trying to influence this election. You're taking completely bogus stories, and you're running with it. It's absolute fake news. That is the statement by Kari Lake.
That's right. Well, let me tell you some more. So while she's talking to all the reporters and all the other people, that last statement that you just read there, Eric, it said that they have a close race. They don't have a close race. It's not even close. She held it up for all reporters to take a picture of it, and it showed that she has an 11-point lead right now. And this is from them. They're lying so bad. The media is lying so bad. And she blasted all of them. She pointed her finger at all of them. Boom, boom, boom. And she said, why don't you, where's the facts? You guys are not even doing the facts. You're worried about somebody getting arrested for breaking into Hobbs' place. You blame me for it. While the smoke screen is that I'm 11 points ahead. Here it is right here. Boom. And she kept pulling it up and putting it in her face. And nobody's even, I looked at all the stuff this morning. Nobody's even talking about it. So regardless of how hard Kari hit them, they're still not saying it. They don't want her as governor.
Right. Okay. When it comes to the press, she committed the ultimate sin. She told everybody how fake they are. She told everybody they're controlled. So so they hate her. They hate her, because you know what? Like in police work, they have the thin blue line, right?
Yeah.
There's a thin blue line in police work, like squealers and stuff like that, right? Thin blue line. I don't know what you call it with the press, but Kari Lake crossed it.
Oh yeah,
she crossed it, and the press hates her now.
They need to ask the questions that were being asked of her. Out of probably 10, 12 questions, like one reporter asked her a question about the public. It's like the rest of it was garbage. It was, how can you say this about that person? Or your numbers are so low that, and you guys are struggling to, and she's like, no, let me show you something. And she pulls it right up and just hammers them. Yeah. And then they shut their mouths like little pussies. They don't even say nothing. They sit there and they just, and they're just turn the camera off. Just really stupid little, it's like, it's so sneaky. And
kind of sounds like the Communist Party.
Oh,
how everybody just looking forward. Oh, nothing to see here. Nothing to see here as they're dragging away the former president,
and
everybody just looks straight ahead and just acts like nothing's happening,
But this is kind of interesting. And I found this out this week. And I didn't know it. And maybe I'm ignorant. Maybe I'm ignorant about a few things. I mean, I admit it. I mean, it's the way it is. Most people are about certain things, but just the way it is. And I noticed when you try to get close to Kari Lake or anybody that's going after power, okay, of some sort, you better have some credentials. You better be part of the press. If you're part of the press, you got to have credentials saying that you are part of the press. So my point is that one of these weekends coming up here shortly, we need to go out and go say hi to Kari. Problem is, you can't get close to her. The public we're not a full-blown news organization. Would we like to be? Absolutely. But are we? No. They won't let us ask her a simple question unless she happens to pop into a diner somewhere or restaurant or some gathering somewhere at a park or something. Besides that, you can't get close to her. And I think that needs to stop. Yeah. I think when can the public get close enough to her without her coming to us? I understand the security issues. Trust me. And I'm sure you do too. It's just the way it is. But I would love to walk up to her and just ask her about the economy. I'd like to ask her about the homeless on the streets. I like to ask her all kinds of cool questions that nobody asks while they're sitting, that pertain to us, because her job as a governor is going to be helping us because we voted her in. So when are we allowed to ask you a question on our terms, not your terms? Now, I like her a lot, but she needs to change that soon, because I get the security crap.
You know, one of the things that, because it's part of the history of our state, one of the things that I'm sure goes through their minds, and I'm not trying to dismiss all of this because I think you're right. I think we do need better access. But, Mark Kelly's wife, Gabby Gifford, right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I mean, that kind of got everybody scared. That kind of scared everybody because she was doing that. Whatever you think of her politics, she was out there. She just had a little table. She was out at a shopping, like a grocery store in the parking lot, just meeting people. And look what happened. Some guy came up and shot her in the head. You know what I mean? Yeah, so I do think that part of it is the security concerns, but I think the other part of it is gatekeepers. There are gatekeepers. Well, yeah. There are people around her that do not want her to meet with certain people. And that always happens. Anytime someone becomes powerful, you're going to have gatekeepers. You're going to have people that the whole basis of their power is access. You know what I mean? Like Hitler had Martin Bormann. If you know about the last days of Hitler, Bormann pretty much decided who talked to Hitler. So if you couldn't get past Bormann, you couldn't talk to Hitler. You know what I mean? That's how he was powerful. You know what I mean? That's how he made his power, because he was the party secretary. So if you wanted to meet with Hitler, you had to go through him first.
Interesting.
But I think that happens with everybody. I think that happens with our governors. I think it happens with our president. Well, our president doesn't even know who he's meeting with. I mean, he's senile. You know what I mean? But I'm saying if he was competent, you know what I mean? Like it's the same thing. You know what I mean? Like they have people that decide where they're going to go, who they're going to see, who can come and meet with them. You know what I mean? And they're gatekeepers.
Security. I get that. But you know what? She's going to have to sit up at a podium and answer some more questions to the public.
Yeah.
I hate to say it. Now, me personally, if I was running for governor, you ain't scare me with no damn gun. I'll walk down the damn middle of the aisle, walk right up to you in the presence of everybody. I don't give a crap. Now, will security be with me? Yeah, absolutely. If that's what I was doing. And trust me, they'd be fully loaded, ready to go. They'd be right next to me, but I'll walk right up to you. I don't care. And that's what
my dad one time was walking. I think he was in San Francisco. My dad spent a lot of time in San Francisco, and he just happened to be walking by this hotel. And you know who came out the door? Just right out the door. He said by himself. Nobody was around him. It was President Johnson.
Really?
And he was president. And he apparently had been having a rally or some sort of press conference in this fancy hotel, and he was coming out the back way. And my dad just happened to be walking there because my dad would take walks, And he said he walked right up to him, and he shook his hand, right? And he said he said he could have killed him. He said he could have just popped out a knife and just killed him right there. You know what I mean? Wow. And all of a sudden, the Secret Service guys are like running up behind him. You know what I mean? And they push my dad away. You know what I mean? Like he did something wrong. You know what I mean? But he probably did is he probably ran away from him and decided he was just going to go outside by himself. and they were all
Wow.
trying to catch up to him. True story. My dad told me that happened.
That's cool. I love that. Speaking of San Francisco, I know we didn't plan for this, but I'll tell you right now. Nancy Pelosi's husband got his ass whooped. You
I heard about that. I did hear about that.
And apparently he was fighting a guy with a hammer that hit him in the head several times, apparently.
Wow.
And apparently when he broke in, he said, "Where's Nancy? Where's Nancy?" So there's a little correlation they're trying to make right now. I was watching some other news guys that I watch all the time. And they're actually trying to, because it was for Nancy, not the husband, they're trying to push it into the January 6th type of deal.
Of course. Everything
Just
January 6th.
Everything is January 6th. Because when they broke in the White House, in the Capitol, and they got in, and it was, where's Nancy? They're all screaming, where's it? Well, they did the same thing in her house to her husband. And why the hell, second in line to the president of the United States, actually third in line, but second to taking his job, besides the vice president, where's the Secret Service?
Well, she's not protected by Secret Service. She's protected by Capitol Police.
Oh,
she's protected by Capitol Police. Capitol
Police
Police protect members of Congress.
Where the hell were they?
I don't know. Probably with her.
The house just
because she wasn't home, right?
Yeah, but you gotta watch the family too.
Yeah,
the family is part of her too. He might be a piece of crap because of what he's done. You know what? He still got to be protected,
right?
And her kids and her grandchildren and everybody else, because we pay for all that stuff, by the way. So we just lost our money on that one. So he got his ass whooped, and they're all kind of going, "This is kind of weird." And the way the police did the conference about what happened, and the police were straight up exactly how it went down, but that's not what the media is saying. The media is saying it's all kinds of other stuff, and I'm like, all right, here we go again. There another media crap that's going on in misinformation as usual.
It's kind of odd. You think so? This guy came in with a hammer. You said,
yeah, came in with a hammer,
not a gun or anything like that. He came in with a hammer.
He busted in. He busted in, or a door was open, or a slider or something. He comes in. He goes, "Where's Nancy?" Because he's going after Nancy. Well, They find out the dude is.
She was not there. You said she was not.
She wasn't there. She was working. Yeah, but he was just by himself. So it's funny because you're looking at the building that she lives in, and it's a big house. But I mean, where's the security?
Well, just for confirmation, was this in what, San Francisco, or was this in Washington D.C.? Which house?
I don't know which house it is. I know it's I just know it's there.
Because obviously she has two houses. She's going to have one in D.C. and one wherever. I think she lives in San Francisco, right? So.
Yeah, it was San Francisco. But man, what a joke! What a joke! I feel sorry for the guy. He got his ass kicked. If that's what really happened, who knows what that's all about? How could you get past the security? The husband of Nancy Pelosi, really? Man,
at the very least, you'd think they'd have surveillance and they'd have an alarm system, right? At the very least, right?
I'll give you a good example. Kari Lake, she becomes, which she will, she'll become governor. Well, they're going to put her in the governor's mansion. That's where they're going to put her.
Well, we don't have a governor's mansion.
I thought we did.
No, Arizona doesn't have a governor's mansion.
Really? I thought. Okay. Anyways,
Arizona does not.
They are going to protect her and her family. I guarantee you that. DPS will.
DPS will give her bodyguards. Yeah.
you got next in line to the presidency damn near, and you don't get no security at your front door or even your back door of your house. Come on,
Yeah, that is
man.
weird.
Nobody buys the story.
It is very weird because I know she has bodyguards from the Capitol Police because she's the speaker.
Does.
She does.
And
so you would assume that they would have somebody watching her house too,
Yeah.
So that's kind of weird.
Yeah, I just thought I'd throw that in there.
But again, at the very least, I would assume they have a security system and they have surveillance. They have cameras. You know what I mean? Dude, anybody can get a ring, right? Anybody can get a ring, right?
They caught
anybody.
They caught him.
I'm just saying, anybody can get a ring installed in their house. Anybody, any Joe Blow citizen can do that. So the idea that they wouldn't have something like that that's actually monitored by either the local police or the Capitol Police, that does seem weird to me.
It is. So I thought I'd throw that in there. What else have we got? We got anything else going on here or what?
This game is still really close, man. It's still like 13-14, Penn State leading, and it's going into the third quarter. This is a pretty exciting game. Like I said, Ohio State is number 2 in the country. This is definitely a good game for people to check out if they want to watch some college football.
All right. Well, listen, our hour is up. So you guys keep watching that game. Drink some more suds if you got them. Okay, I know it's kind of early, but that's all right for you diehards out there.
Maybe do the Bloody Mary. Do the Bloody Mary, right?
Do the Bloody
Mary. Hair of the dog. Little
That's
hair of the dog.
Get a little function going on there. All right, guys. We will talk to you guys shortly. Base God 14, you have yourself a beautiful day. And we will catch you guys on the down low. All right. Talk to you soon. Later.